Welcome everybody to the BBBOTS audience show. It's our 8th show and I am so excited about tonight. We've just watched the E4 best ever shows, Tree of Temptation, and we've got the actual star of the show with us tonight. He's the winner of CBB 7. He's an actor, he's been in Hollyoaks, he's a tabloid star, he's done everything, a TV personality. He is Alex Reid. Big
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you know what?
Welcome.
For so long, I've been a bit anti-celebrity because celebrity can be a bit like this, a bit of a roller coaster, and it's not been fantastic in many respects. But this part of my celebrity life, I'm very proud of, and I actually posted out on my social media. I'm very proud of this. Everyone, please tune in. This is one of the most awe-inspiring moments in my life when I won that show.
Excellent, excellent. We're going to talk about that a bit later on. We're going to talk more about that, Alex. I just want to introduce our other guest, who I'm super excited about because whenever she was in the studio, I always tweeted she was my favourite body language expert. Yeah. It's only Dame Judi James.
Woo! Hey!
I love you. And I'm going to find out a bit later on if she really is a dame or whether it was something Rylan invented a bit later on. But Alex, we've got to come straight to you. I mean, that poor snowman. What can you say about the snowman?
I tell you what, he wasn't a poor snowman. That snowman was all soft at the top, but it was like concrete at the bottom. So I was trying to be macho man. I remember kicking it so hard at the bottom, and I had to fake it. I was going to cry. I went into the toilet afterwards and I looked at my shin and it was bleeding. Hey guys, I just want to say before this, I'm so happy to be doing this with you guys. I mean, you guys are the guys. I've seen your faces time and time again over the years on the panel, in the audience, and I'd rather be doing this here with you now than with all the other celebrities. So thank you.
You're too kind, Alex. We're delighted to have you. We've had 3 civilian winners with us, but you are our first celebrity Big Brother winner that's joined us, and we're absolutely over the moon about it. Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Listen, Alex, they actually passed you on that task, and you got your boxing bag or whatever you call it. And so when you walked back in the house, no one believed that the Tree of Temptation hadn't told you to destroy the snowman. I mean, you couldn't really fake that, could you?
It's funny, you know, I've got all of the videos, DVDs at home at my mum's house, and I've only watched 4 episodes. I watched the very first one in the middle, and a couple at the end. And so that was so fascinating for me to watch. I was like, who is that? I'm talking like a London Cockney geezer. I don't talk like that. Like 10 years ago, mind you. But so I was thinking the sort of things I was saying. I was trying to make up stuff in my mind. What can I say?
But you know what was amazing, Alex? What was amazing, I think Emma, Rylan and Davina touched on it. When you entered the house, the crowd was heavily booing you. Oh, yeah. And you said at the time, I believe, you were going to turn them round. And by day 27, you came out the winner and everyone was cheering for you. How did you feel about that?
Well, like I said, it's one of the proudest moments. Even now, talking about it, I feel the hairs. Well, I haven't got any hairs on my chest. Hairs on the back of my neck. Still shaved. I always wanted to be famous, but I never wanted to be famous for being famous for my salacious sex life and scandal. You know, I'm an actor. Yeah. I've done loads of, although people didn't realise that because of my association.
You've done Hollyoaks, haven't you?
Sorry?
Yeah. You've done Hollyoaks.
Last year I did 2 films, 2 plays, 2 pantomimes, and a sitcom. But people
not a lot of people know that.
But I mean, I'm working diligently hard, and also now I'm doing acting. Before that, I was another actor in another way. Even though I've had 300 fights, I was just a bullied kid pretending to be tough, and I got tough along the way. I worked bloody hard to be an athlete, and unfortunately, I swallowed the celebrity pill. You know, the blue pill, and I loved it for a while. It's a roller coaster. It's very seductive, but it has, like it says, it's a slippery slope. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Look at what happened to that Mike Palacios from Love Island. And I've had so much negativity
Yeah.
It was really. I was a bit like this tonight watching the show.
Yeah.
How they gonna play it? But I was actually very happy.
It was okay, wasn't it? How does it feel? How does it feel winning Celebrity Big Brother compared to winning one of your fights? How does that compare?
No, Celebrity Big Brother. There's 3 moments I define the pinnacles of my life, and my birth of my daughter, the winning. Not winning, having a massive fight when I was ridiculed for not being an athlete, which was 6 months after winning Big Brother, and winning Big Brother because I was 40 to 1 odds to win. I felt like the most unpopular man in the country. And I was like, it's funny. I felt like when I come out and I won it, I got the highest vote in the history of Big Brother as well. So
I think it was 6% of the final vote you got.
66%. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty convincing win.
20 million people or something. Yeah, I was like,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, look at me. I was on another. I call it. I actually joke about it. I wasn't on drugs, but I call it the LSD years.
You really come into yourself. But
Sorry?
when you came into the house, you saw you grow right out to the end. It was brilliant.
But do you know what? I did, and that's why I was watching myself back then. I was like, my lady, my fiance Nicola, was saying, "Oh, I fancy that guy. He was innocent, and he was innocent. I was naive and a bit silly." And I just saw Vinny saying, "I'd only been in the celebrity life for 6 months, even though I'd done films and acting and stuff. I wasn't in the celebrity realm." And he said, Vinny was saying, "Look, he's a bit of a prat sometimes, but he's a good guy." And that's what I saw myself. I might cringe a bit, but I'm sure if we all go back and you see videos of yourself, you're like, "Oh God, why did I say that?"
I love the fact that you're an expert in all martial arts, including a black belt in bullshitsu.
And no can do.
Talking about,
you know, when you were in the diary room, when you came out the diary room, and you had all that sweat. The story that you told, did you really think that they believed you?
I don't know. What do you reckon, guys? Do you reckon they bought it? Or
Judi,
well, they should have kept quiet, shouldn't they?
Stephanie was looking at you like she's like looking at your body like the sweat, like I don't know.
So Judi, am I a good bullshitter?
Sorry.
Am I a good bullshitter or a terrible?
I want to ask Dame Judi James. First of all, Dame Judi James, I want to know, you're not really a dame, are you? Is it something Ryland made up?
Phil, with this accent, you must be joking. I think legend had it that there was a runner that saw Judi James coming on and thought it was going to be Judi Dench and got really excited. So I was their disappointment for the day. And Ryland was the one that carried it on, I think.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? You were always a dame in the box studio.
Yeah.
Sure. I loved it. You know what really upset me was when in the last few series they moved us across to the other side of the studio.
Yeah.
Loved saying hello to you all and everything, and we couldn't do it from there. I couldn't even properly. So me because you guys, I think, knew more about everybody on there than we did.
Yeah.
And news tuned in because you could do.
There's a wee bit of eye contact.
Yeah.
How do you guys
wave at you?
How do you guys all become regulars then? I'm like, I'm fascinated. Like you're the same faces time and time again. And actually, Big Brother isn't Big Brother without you guys.
Well, Alex, I live in the Tesco's car park next door.
And I flew over from Belfast every week.
And I drove from the Midlands.
I came from Oxford, all the way down from Oxford.
Every week.
Yeah.
And I came from Brighton.
Yeah.
Well, how long did that
I
take?
just came from Wembley, just round the corner.
What about you, Rebecca?
I was from St Albans, so it took me about 20 minutes to get in.
And you?
I'm from
Essex.
the Midlands.
So John, you came from Belfast.
Belfast, that's where I live.
Sorry, who said they were from the Midlands?
Yeah, where's the Midlands?
Denise. That's
Teresa.
From Coventry, on the Midlands as well.
God, what would you do? Drive? How long would that take?
About
2 hours.
2.5 to 3 hours.
2 hours.
And
John,
Corinne,
John Fly, I think. John flew from Ireland, and there was a guy from Scotland also, didn't we have a guy come over from Scotland as well?
Andy used to fly down, didn't he? Andy used to fly down, try and do it in one hit. We came from Southend.
So do you have to reserve your places? How do you get your places?
No.
We're invited.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's.
Yeah.
And
you
the
have to
regular
be
talkers
noisy.
normally get asked back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
the main thing.
Yeah.
One of the key things is people, then I think the company's seeing that you've got a real interest. You're not just on there to try and be famous or anything like that. You've got an interest. You try and ask the right questions. You want to find out more about people. People live and breathe the show. I think that's it. It's not just an hour a night or an hour a night, 6 or 7 weeks. It goes on a lot longer.
But let me tell you guys. Let me ask you. Who have you all been here from the complete beginning, or when did we all
From the
join?
complete beginning, yes, I
I
have.
was from the beginning.
Yeah,
Right,
Karen, myself, and Marlon were from the Big Brother days with Russell Brand, Big Mouth days.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
That. So,
We went way
how
back.
do you think the show's gone? Well, it's gone now. I mean, who knows? It might. You never know.
For now.
Downhill.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
I used to like when they did more of the psychological side, because there was a whole show for that on its own. So because it started as a social experiment, that's what hooked me into it. So I used to like more of the psych side, instead of just having it as a piece of the box show. It had its own standalone, so I think they could have done more on that. Maybe not its own standalone, but just more into the what happens with the psyche of people when they're in there.
Yeah,
and
because
how
we
they
learned
get
from
uncomfortable
people.
stuff.
We did learn from people.
Yeah.
And it also seemed a lot more genuine back then as well. It seemed a lot more raw. But then something changed when I went to Channel 5. It was more plasticky. It wasn't
Trivial.
quite as authentic as what it was.
The people were different, weren't they? The people were different because in Channel 4, I think there wasn't so much social media as such. There wasn't Twitter and everything. So it was very, very different. When we went to Channel 5, I think a lot of them had social backing, and a lot of them knew each other from what I used to read. And
They were much more media savvy than the previous housemates early on.
Yeah.
Neil's got a question.
Yeah, Alex, and this is really for you and Judi. It's one of the things from tonight's episode that was quite clear. There was two, obviously, very big alpha males, yourself, Alex, and Vinnie Jones, who, like, you know, most people outside would call real big alpha males. And when you've gone in there, I think neither of you seem to have that same image as you had outside. Both of you showed very, very different side to the outside image, and that's what I really enjoyed seeing. It was like you I don't know, it was almost like that was your outside persona, and this was the real people. And the way you two, I think, got on, some of the conversations that you two had, I wondered if it was like there was a conscious of two alpha males, and no one came to the top, and you just decided, you know, it's a bit of a standoff.
Well, I've got a story here.
Alex, we're all ears.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'm a puppy dog, right? I mean, I detest violence. I'm an ex-soldier. I left the army because I don't want to kill people. And a scaredy cat kid who got bullied, looking for acceptance, had all these fights mixed with tough guys. Ultimately, I just want to be nice. But the scaredy cat has made himself a badass when I have to be. So Prince Adam turns into He-Man occasionally. Now, Vinny, he bullied me quite a bit, right? I don't know if it was shown, and maybe I'd like to thank the producers of Big Brother.
I'm not sure that was shown.
No, he bullied me quite a bit. I remember, I was like, I'd be nice. I'm like, okay, all right. But what does a puppy dog do if you keep poking it?
Bite back.
So at one point, I switched on him, proper switched on him, like, right, something like that. And I'm like, right, okay, come on, let's go. Like, and I'm like, and second I did that, he was really nice to me.
Yeah.
And
you need the answer back.
It was like the pecking order, you know, like
And
I
felt like he was digging at you. I felt
that.
I did too.
But then I had a respect for him because he's achieved a lot. He's my elder. I just didn't want to be bullied, and I'm like, he knew that I'm not in there to be the tough guy or anything. I just wanted, if I need to be, I will be the tough guy. But he looked after me. It was really weird. He bullied me, but he was also like a big brother. He always did the cooking. He'd give me extra food. Reid is his extra grub, you know.
Maybe
Can I
he was
ask
just poking.
Judy, can I ask Judy, sorry, can I ask Judy, what do you make of the fact that Alex completely turned round the public perception of him from the day going in, being, as they said, one of the most hated people in the country, to coming out one of the most loved people in the country? What do you make of that as a body language expert?
I mean, Alex has got, don't tell him I said this, but he's got a lot of charisma, and I think, you know, that came over. And I think it was that flexibility that we're very self-effacing, and I think we always enjoy that in Big Brother, because when you see somebody really good looking going in, you think they're going to be vain and narcissistic, but
yeah.
For me as well, I think the big moment it turned on when I kind of knew he was going to win. Alex, did you spray tan down your pants? and it was just this great moment that you get this guy and he's standing there and he's just sprayed the wrong thing down his pants. One of those big moments. And I think when you get a genuine alpha like Vinny, they're always very vulnerable in Big Brother, because do you remember with Reid Ruddock, who was also great, but an alpha, but they're very vulnerable because if they put somebody hateful in there with them, there's always a point when they've got to stand up to them, and then they use their size, they look very threatening.
Yeah.
And that's when Rylan had to step in, do you remember, to save
Yeah.
about to get out of his chair and sort out that dreadful couple from America.
Spidey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually tried to get him on the show.
Yeah, Razor was quite, sorry, I think Vinny was lucky that Alex stood down and allowed him to be alpha, and I don't think, if I remember rightly, nobody annoyed the house very much, so he didn't have to use his physicality.
I think the way I see it with stags and alphas, right, and I do a lot of psychology as being a fighter, as a military person, you've got different ranks. You've got private all the way up to a general. You know when your time to shine is, and you come forward. And if you're a private in the front line, you won't listen to the general. If you've got to kill your enemy, it's you and your enemy. But then there's a time when you do listen to your general. So basically, it's how I saw it. You know, it's like you're a true alpha. Who's the more alpha, the general or the private?
Yeah.
You're both alphas in the right time. You're just tools at the right time. I hate to talk like in the military term, but it's funny. It became like a pecking order in there a bit. And I don't like that. I'm trying to be, let's all be lovers.
Alex, sorry to interrupt you.
Hey, Robert, what do you know?
Well, pretty much the same as you being ex-military. The look on your face for me in the series was when Vinny was sat quite near you around the sofas, and he admitted to spending nearly $400 on a pair of socks and only wearing them once. How much do you spend on a pair of socks? Do you more than once?
I can't say.
Sorry, Mark.
Exactly.
5 pairs for finding Tesco.
Listen, I don't know. All the guys here, if you've got a missus, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I have got a thing about I lose. The dreaded sock monster is always taking my socks. I'm not going to buy. The women, every single woman I've been with, they throw an odd sock away. And
yeah, I can relate.
I've got a question for Judi
Hi,
James.
Mark.
Can I just say, wash your own socks?
I don't wash my socks though, just wear them a few more times. Turn them inside out. Go. Marlon, what do you know? Talk to me, bro.
Yeah, Dame Judi James. I was going to ask, so production side of it, did they say, look, this is the show tonight, we want to concentrate on this couple when you're analysing, or did they say, here's the show, speak about whoever you want?
They used to ask me to send in a load of notes beforehand about everything. I used to send like War and Peace size notes in.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, okay, we'll use this, this and this. And then about an hour before I was going in, they'd say, actually, we've changed it all.
Typical.
It was very much what we wanted to say. And I don't know if you remember towards the end, I remember dragging my soapbox out when I got really annoyed with something like, what's her name? Anne Widdicombe. And what you want me to say, I know what I'm supposed to be saying, but I've got to have a rant about Anne Widdicombe. I'm sorry. And I thought that was great, you know. So
awesome.
Yeah, I think the only reason that we got any steer on it was because to make sure that we didn't all speak about the same people.
The same husband. Yeah. Alex,
sorry, I've got a question for Alex, right? So I've worked in the media industry for quite a while. I know people that you've done films with, I've done films with, and I've always known that you're a really good guy. And I think the problem with the media is they love to tear someone down. And unfortunately, you were one of the people where the media love to target. And that's why a lot of people had that impression on Big Brother. Thank God that Big Brother had the opportunity to show the real you, because you can't fake it for a month. And I remember I was so happy to see the change. I like to see when people have that horrible impression of someone where they don't know them at all and they just read the mainstream media, then they change their mind after watching you. Do you feel, when you first went on the show, was you scared how the show could have portrayed you? And thank God it portrayed you in the right way.
Question.
Life was so crazy. I couldn't walk down the street. And it's not saying this in a big-headed way. I was in the newspaper every single day, on TV a lot, and things, not nice things. And so I was a laughing stock. I felt like that. I didn't accept myself as well. When people say bad things about you enough times, as much as strong-willed as you are, and I'm a good guy. I've been a champion fighter and I've achieved all these other things. But when people say it so much, a bit of it starts to seep in. So I was like, I call it the LSD years. I didn't really know. I was like going with the flow. I didn't really. I remember I had a mind man, like not a hypnotherapist, an NLP, an EFT guy who I'd used before my fights, and he said, "Look, Alex, you need to go in." So I wasn't even going to go in the day before. He said, "You need to go to show people the real you, because not to win the show, but to win in life." It was just to go and show the people the real me. And it's funny, like I said, I come out and it was so numb again. And then I got swept away by another person who, I went and married my ex-wife 2 days later. And then it's like my whole Big Brother experience got sort of swallowed and disappeared. I was like, oh, it's a shame. I see, like, it's Mark Wright. He didn't even win I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of It. But look how he came number 2. But look how well he did. And I had all that lined up. I had all these deals, and I had my management team and to promote me. And it just all went under the carpet. I thought, right, okay. Kate said, right, join me. Don't sign anything else. It's me and you now, babe. We're going to conquer the world. And it was like, I remember sitting around a table with all these different people, like PR people, clothing, managers, like book deal, all that sort of stuff. Great, this is great. It's exciting, isn't it? And it was 3 hours on Kate and 10 minutes on Alex Reid. Alex,
But Alex, sorry.
Now,
one at a time.
If you could have changed that, would you have changed it, do you think?
1,000,000%. Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah, of course. I've had so much pain and suffering. You become spiritual.
Yeah.
I felt suicidal over some of the horrible things. Absolute. I talked about that guy, Mike Falassis. I've been denigrated so much. I've been destroyed in the press. And you're the most wonderful person in the world. It's like a drug addiction, Fame.
You see, this is where a book coming, couldn't it?
It's true.
A book that you're talking about now, you could write a book to everybody else who's gone through what you're going through, what you went through.
I'd like to.
And it will help people.
The reason why I had a book 3/4 of the way done, there was a chapter on my ex-wife, and I know she gets so much press, it would just swallow the whole book. So swallow the whole book up. So I'm trying to just reword it because I really want to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing my training. I'm gone back to what I love.
Yeah, but if you do the spiritual side of it, carry on with it.
Yeah.
So
because I'm very spiritual as well, I'm a healer, so it goes with that. But if you do the spiritual side of it and carry on with that, then that's a completely different aspect of what you're writing about.
And that is the plan, young lady.
Yeah. Denise has got a question, please.
Yeah, I've got a question for Judith. You know that you're a body language expert. Are you taking notes of all of us now? Are you getting our body language?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that already. Like she's watching all of us.
You've sussed me, haven't you? Yeah. My normal phrase is I only do it when I'm paid for it.
Judi, how much can you read from a Zoom screen? How much can you read from a Zoom screen?
Everything.
Unfortunately, not you guys. You've all got it rigged up really well, but a lot of them, it's just like awful passport photographs, don't they? And tell people, because people go on dates on Zoom and everything. I mean, goodness.
Oh,
God. It's taken me hours to make sure that I haven't got a big ceiling above.
Yeah.
Like that. So. Yeah,
Karen's got a question. Karen,
yes. Oh my God. Right. It was towards Alex actually. Do you find that Vinnie Jones and yourself had similarities? That's why you sort of clashed a little bit. Sportsmen that went into that also did acting. You know, sportsmen are competitive. Do you think that maybe Vinnie Jones saw you as a younger version of himself? And maybe sort of got you as the winner in his head early on. Do you think that?
I don't actually think that. I think he didn't. He thought he was so above me, and not in a derogatory way. He thought, look at this young pup. Look what he's doing. You know, he wants to be bloody James Bond. What joke? And I'm like, and I'm going to say I was a bit of a dickhead. I don't mean it. In the nicest possible way. He actually said, God, he's a prat. He's a lovable prat, though. Yeah, and it became like that. It's like he was like, I kind of turned him around. Rather than being aggressive, it was like, I was like, come on, I was looking up to him. Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Even like after that moment when I switched on him and I said, look, you know, come on. And the eyes, and I went like into kill mode. I then instantly backed down to say, look, okay, come on, let's be pals.
Can we go to Teresa? Teresa's got a question.
I've got two. Can I ask both?
Yeah, of course you can.
Of course you can.
Oh, thank you. Alex, what made you go into the house? Was it money or was it something else?
I would, like I said, I keep saying it was like the LSD years. I was on a different planet. I listened to my coach, my mental mind coach, who said to me, look, you should really do this. I have a coach for all my athletics, for when I was going to do a big talk or do a play, to get myself confident. And he said, like, you know, I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't see the wood for the trees. You imagine.
Do you know much about the house?
Yeah. I mean, I'd watched Big Brother many times. Oh, this is really funny. I remember saying to the guys down the gym, 2 years before I went in the house, I said, I'm going to go on that one day. I was in Hollyoaks in 2002. And they all went, oh, shut up, Reedy. You're on harassment. They were joking, saying it with love, you know, like blokes do. Come on, you're done, mate. You're done. I said, oh, bloody show you boys. And then when I was 40-1 odds to win at one point, I made them a lot of money. And I came back to the gym. I was like, I told you so. So that was lovely.
Neil's got a question.
Oh, I think Teresa had a second question.
Sorry, Fiona.
Did Teresa have a second question?
Yeah, it's one for Dame Judi.
Go on. Sorry, Teresa.
That's all right. Dame Judi, who was your
Teresa.
favourite? Hello, nice to see you. Who was your favourite, most interesting housemate?
Probably non-celebrity. I mean, I was listening to what Davina was saying about Jade Goody last night, and she kind of epitomised the genre, really, didn't she?
Yeah.
All the tragedy and whatever. But I also like people. I'm very anti the big American setup that we got in there, and I think, for me, Alex and Vinny were great in that episode because the Americans are big names and they go in there and they don't really touch the sides. They don't.
They're just there for the dollar, aren't they?
And so much Botox, I can't read their body language. It's like you can just see their eyelashes moving again. You're saying, what are they thinking? I've got no idea. There were big names and everything, but I like people that were good disruptors as well. Like, from a later series, James Jordan, He went in there and
Yeah,
said
it's great.
really, really well, and I love that. But yeah, I always remember Chantel as well. I just watching her win. I love the celebrities who thought that, a little bit like they did with Alex, that, oh, you know, this person hasn't quite got the pedigree that we've got, and things like that. And then you watch them win, which is amazing. I nearly awarded it tonight to Stephanie Beecham for the one quote when she said, "I'm not a bitch, I can be sharp-tongued." I thought that
And then said Parasite.
Yeah.
So,
Fiona, I think Fiona's got a question.
Yeah, so mine's for Judi. It's a two-part question, really. First of all, do you ever meet any of the housemates before they go in?
Oh.
And
No, not before. No.
So you have no perception of them at all when they're...
Well, I mean, a lot of them. I mean, I have to say, Alex's photograph used to keep popping up on my desk to be able to... So I was like, oh, not him again. But no, a lot of them are so famous that I'd seen them a lot. But the civilian people, I'd never seen.
John Cross has got a question. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
That's one of my second ones. Have you ever been... I'm not putting any doubt on your professionalism, but have you ever been wrong about anyone? So seeing them in the house, making this impression, or reading their body language, when you've actually met them afterwards, have you ever been wrong about anybody?
Do you know, I really try and avoid them afterwards, because either they hate me,
I don't.
or they come rushing out, and I've been watching them for how many weeks, and they'll say, "What did you think of my body language?" It's to say, really, you know. Again, I don't work off duty, but I think I haven't seen any of them very much outside afterwards to change an opinion. But I have to say that, like everybody else that watched Big Brother, one of the big things that I learnt from as well was how much, even though I desperately try not to, you get preconceived ideas. So people used to go in there and you say, they're going to win it, they're fabulous.
Yeah.
And they turn out to be the biggest toe rag turnips in the history of creation. And
Yeah.
that you thought, I really don't like this person, I really hate them. And you're loving them by the end of it. And that's taught us all about real life, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got loads of questions. So can we go John, Rob, Rebecca?
Right, Alec, I'm going to ask you, it's about Heidi. Heidi really struggled when she was in the house. Now, did she tell you anything that she was really struggling about that we weren't told? And Judi, did you pick up on anything? Because I did think it was as if she was a bit of an addict or something, and she was really lost in the house. Did she show any signs of that in the house?
1,000,000%. Yeah, I mean, she was recovering.
Yeah.
Something. Quite.
Yeah. I think that was very apparent.
You could see. I'm quite like psychology. I was trying to watch her when we just had we had the pub quiz, and we were all having a sitting round chat, and she just kept quiet the whole time. Because I remember she was a bit anti me, I felt. So, puppy dog here, who's a bit jumps on your lap and, you know, wants to just be loved. Didn't really feel that there, you know. And
yeah, she was like lost in her eyes, and you know, that's what. What about you, Judi? Did you see much of, like?
I don't know about. Yeah, I mean, for me, watching it tonight, because I must admit I'd forgotten about a load of the people. A lot of people I recognise in that.
Yeah.
But I did feel with her there was a lot going on between her and Ivana. And I wouldn't even want to know what the history. I think we can all imagine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that was
Rob.
That
we go to Rob. Sorry, Judi.
Hi. One question each. Judi, have you and Dr. Pam Spur ever had a falling out and disagreement over any housemate?
Oh.
Not that I would know. I probably knew less about what she was saying. We used to we'd be like ships that passed in the night backstage. We got on there, I'd be listening to her for the first time, but no, we never had any, I don't remember ever having any disagreements or arguments or even particularly different opinions, because I think when we were working together, we'd always make sure that she'd handle one aspect of them and I'd be talking about something else. As far as I remember, you may proved me wrong at that moment. We had that big fight on screen. I don't know.
And the second part is to Alex. Listening to you earlier on in the show this evening, would it have been easier to have let Ivana Trump get her clause and had 3 to 5 mil within 6 months?
Nice one, Rob. Nice one.
I was just thinking the same thing. I remember my mate Stephen Baldwin. I'm like, Alex, get rid of that one. Katie, you got to get with Ivana. I'm like, and when you heard Vinny saying, Vinny was talking to Stephen in the kitchen. I've been telling Reid, Alex, I've been telling Alex if he gets with her to 3 to 5 years, he could get 3 to 5 mil. And then they do a screenshot and I'm chatting to her. And Nicola, my fiance, was saying she was eyeing you up when you were all sweaty. I love it. I know quotes. I say them like at least once or twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's what it is. I love Ivana Trump. Yes, good old Ivana.
Was there any inside information on our president over the other side of the pond?
No, we didn't get like into politics. We had a workout.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I think that's what she wanted, didn't she?
Nicola.
That's a couple of million in the bank, isn't it?
But don't worry, I'll buy you some of those nice shoes. Come on, I'm coming for you.
No.
Rebecca, I think Rebecca had a question.
Yeah, one question each actually. So, Judi, which celebrity could you not work out? Who had like multiple personalities?
That's a good question.
Actually, I think Spidey were like, you just couldn't. I always thought that they were putting on a complete act, but because it was a double act, you couldn't pick any moment when you thought, oh no, that's what it's really like. And I think they were probably the ones that I would have given up on. I mean, people tried to find the good in them. I mean, I gave up on doing it.
Yeah, me neither.
I must tell you something, Judi. I must tell you. Last week, I actually messaged Spencer, who follows me on Twitter, to see if I could get him to come on this. And he replied immediately and said, we're actually on holiday at Heidi's parents in Colorado. Otherwise, he would have done it.
I thought you were going to say, you said not if Judi James is on it. the other one that I did meet backstage, by the way, and I forgot, Perez. Do you remember Perez Hill?
Yeah, I was going to say about him. He was a very weird character.
I mean, he was a big disruptor, wasn't he? And
definitely.
Backstage, he just came over and we were chatting while they were putting the chairs on the table. I mean, we were talking for ages.
Yeah.
He was really professional and a lot warmer than we ever got to see, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a big character he's playing then.
I did warm to him, actually.
He's one of my favourites, sort of like the most interesting person to watch, I think. I thought he's brilliant, just TV gold.
I think he went in there as with a viewer in mind, that he thought, what would I like to see on screen?
Yeah.
Somebody completely just everybody out the water, and he was quite brave in the way that he did it as well.
Definitely.
There were other questions, Rebecca? Was there
the other one was, for Alex. If you could go in the house again, what 5 different celebs would you have in this time? Who would you like to share the house with?
Every day, 5 tonight.
Do they have to be alive?
Oh, anyone.
Hands, are you killing them?
Honestly, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
quite interesting.
Not swearing, are you?
Oh.
Sylvester Stallone, yeah.
Okay.
And Jackie.
Not Jackie. Who else? And the Queen.
Oh, blimey. Didn't expect
what
that
happened
answer.
there? Wow.
Corin,
Imagine the task.
Corin, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. I've got a question for Dame Judi, actually. We saw you every week. I mean, I was there, saw you, absolutely wonderful. The music came on, different music, and it was wonderful. You saw so many celebrities, so many newbies that came on. And every time you saw them, did you think, I mean, for 1 minute, 2-prong question, if did you ever think, oh, I would love to go into the house and see what it was like to be in there with the celebrities? And number two, would you, if you had gone in, would you have been analysing them all the time?
No, I would have just gone in and collapsed after about 10 minutes. I did go in. I don't know if you remember when I did Judge Judi at all.
Yeah.
And the minute I walked into that house, and if you remember, that house was very fraught, wasn't it? It was a nasty atmosphere in there. And I walked in, I mean, that outfit was really heavy. But the minute I walked in, I thought, this is like going back into the worst playground in the world. The vibes coming over from some of the stronger groups. I just thought I would be shuddering on the floor in tears. I'll never forget when I got up to walk out, and I think we'd taken about 4 hours filming that scene. And I got up and I stood up to leave, and I fell into the wall. I remember Helen laughing like a dragon. I just get me out. I mean, the atmosphere, maybe the celebrity ones were a little bit more uplifting, but it wasn't so much the place itself. It was that playground feeling that I couldn't have stomached. No, I wouldn't have been strong enough, I don't think.
No. Marlon, I think let's go to Marlon. I think he's got a question.
Yeah, I've got a question for Alex. I was just wondering how the acting thing came about. Did you go to acting school or did you fall into it? How did it come up?
So, my first bit of acting, I was the angel Gabriel in a school nativity play. I don't want to be an angel. That's a girl. Angels are girls. And then I loved it. And I thought I was typecast to become an ugly sister the next year. I was King George, St. George, yeah, and it's just a love affair from there. So let me just get rid of that. I didn't fall it. I went to acting school in 2000. I was a film extra for many years. The first big thing I did was I was a judge in Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
Really?
I was always listening when they wanted someone a bit extra to do something to the director, and I'll be just standing in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And then
anything lined up that you can tell?
Yes. Oh yes.
Good.
I can't say because I signed it.
Honestly.
Hook me up, Alex. Hook me up.
But I tell you, my story is I was Tom Hanks's body double on Saving Private Ryan in 1998, and I remember talking to Vin Diesel at lunch like you do, just name dropping there. This is the real, and I'm like, I'm tired of just being a pretty face and a model and all that sort of stuff. And he said, "Well, go to acting school." So I went to acting school.
Which one did you go to?
Guildford School of Acting. It's funny.
Guildford. Oh, I went there.
It's funny because a few years ago, I felt unconfident about my acting ability, and I thought I wanted to go and train again. I was going to go to RADA, and I was looking at the acting schools. Guildford's the second best acting school in the country. I was like, hold on a second. What am I? It's all a much of a muchness. It's about being in the right place at the right time.
That's right.
You're a very interesting guy.
Alex, I'm calling you Nicola. Is there any chance we can see the good lady? Because I'm nosy like that.
Come on, Nick.
Come on.
No.
She might not have her makeup.
You know, she's one of these girls. She needs to have all her makeup on and stuff.
That's a girl. Nicola, go for it, girl.
Come on, Nick.
I think Neil's got a question, I think.
I think I probably already know the answer to this, but I want to ask it anyway. Alex, would you do another celebrity type program?
Well, yeah, if it's the right thing all day long. I mean,
Jungle, yeah.
That'd be good.
Strictly Come Dancing.
That would be interesting. That'd be fun. I like the jungle. The funniest thing, even though I'm an ex-paratrooper, I'm petrified of heights. The reason why I left the army, I didn't like being cold. I didn't like being wet. I didn't like being shouted at.
TV studio's warmer.
So Big Brother was perfect, but I mean, if they were to throw me out of an airplane, I'd probably cry like a girl. That's not good. I'm doing that SAS thing, but I'd have to get fit. My body's a bit bashed up, and obviously somebody else went on it recently. Thinking about that, I mean, this is really weird. I went for a walk around Hampstead with my missus today. Took the dog for a walk, and there was a lady around there who I actually dated for a little bit. Well, yeah, Katie Weasel.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that.
When I was getting with Chantal Houghton, who happens to be another winner of Celebrity.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, and it was like, shall I get with Katie Weasel or shall I get with Chantal? It could have been a different life, couldn't it? And Nicola said, your life, you could have had a better life, you could have had kids, you could have been really great. Nicola, my lovely lady. Well, you just want to get rid of me? With 3 girls. I've been with 3 girls on Big Brother, and I have a Big Brother baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, how old is the baby now?
She was 8 last week.
Gosh.
Is it
Blimey. 8?
Dolly?
Dolly, yes.
Gosh.
Can I ask Judi a question? Judi?
Yeah.
I was looking on your on Google, and I didn't realise you'd written so many books. You've written novels and non-fiction. You've written, obviously, the Body Language Bible, and you've written Sex at Work, a Survivor's Guide, or something like that. I don't think I've got to use that nowadays.
Let's check that one out.
Have you got any more books coming out?
Sorry, what was the question?
Basically, you've written loads of books. Have you got any more books in the pipeline?
No, it's funny because with the lockdown, I'm supposed to be doing a new one, and I thought, you know, and I've moved to Brighton now. I'm not sort of like busy in London, and I thought, this is it. I will just spend my days writing. Nothing. I've cleaned the sock drawer out.
Did you find Alex's socks?
All your odd socks, actually, they've all got a little letter A embroidered in the corner. I wonder who on earth they belong to. I'll send them back. But no, I haven't, apart from doing analysis for the newspapers. But what I do want to do is a book on, I think, you know, on a slightly serious note, I think the one thing with the pandemic is that it's changed everybody's body language, because they're either communicating like this, or you're going out and you've got the mask on. I mean, I go out looking for gloves like I'm going to rob a bank or something. It's really sinister. And I think we've got to learn, we can't do the normal greeting rituals and everything. So a lot that I had in my last book, Body Language Bible, has got to be updated, really.
Yeah.
How we can greet people. Oh, and Sheila. Yes, Brighton. Sorry, she directed me to a bus, and I'd only just moved to Brighton. I was out down in the marina, and this said, "Oh, sorry, I'm Big Brother," and I realised who you all were. So thank you.
Well, Judy, I think I'm probably one of the only people who's observed your body language.
I know that was my worst. I was like, I was about to throw a strop, actually. So yeah, I was going to be like one of those kids in the supermarket. Throw myself on the floor.
Alex, did you take any souvenirs from the house?
I've still got the punch bag. It's funny, I've got it up in my patio now.
How did you get the punch bag out?
Well,
oh my God.
Actually.
Under a t-shirt.
What have I got? I've got a wig. One wig.
Stuff that you've taken out, like slipped out, like, you know, in your suitcase.
He slipped the punch bag in his pocket. Or down the stairs.
I don't really have anything.
Was he pleased to see you?
Judy, did you manage to get anything out of the house?
I never even took a blinking sweetie from the bowl in the green room, actually.
Oh, the Haribos.
No, nothing at all.
I tell you, what I've got to say is I didn't think these shows could get any better every night. But I think it's as good as the guests we have on, and they've all been great, but they seem to be getting better every night. I mean, thank you so much for coming on.
Tonight has been amazing, guys, and, you know, honestly,
It really has.
Alex, I'm so glad that people get to, again, see your kind of personality, because I think it's so important to see what people really like.
You've been absolutely amazing. So, unless anyone else has got any more questions, I think we've covered everything. And
everyone's got to go round. I've got a question, just quickly. Everyone's got to go round. Someone asked me the question, who would you have in the house? Everyone's got to say one person. And they could be dead or alive or famous or whatever.
Celebrity.
Oh my
God.
I'd say David Bowie.
I was going to say that.
Were you, Rebecca?
Yeah, he's my hero, yeah. Love him.
Rebecca.
Ziggy Stardust days.
Right. Daniel, who?
Controversial, but Trump.
Trump, beautiful.
Oh my God.
A female comedian, I forget her name, she's passed away with cancer. Oh, split piano. Come on, help me, guys.
Victoria
Wood.
Victoria Wood.
Yes. Victoria Wood.
Rebecca, you said, who did you say?
I would have said David Bowie, but I would perhaps go with, oh God. Come back to me.
Okay.
Mark
Anyone else?
Goldman.
I would have Freddie Mercury.
Oh,
Yeah.
great one.
Russell Kane. Russell Kane.
That's okay, right.
I always wanted to go into the house with my son, and I did manage to drag me along once to Big Brother's bit on the side, but yeah, I would have really liked to have gone into the house with him.
Oh.
You just wouldn't do it.
I would say Princess Di.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
nice
one.
one.
No, I was thinking.
She would have done it as well.
I was thinking, and you know who I'd like to go in the house with now? I mean, after all everything, is Jade. I would like to see what it would be like in the house with her.
Yeah.
I know she's gone and everything, but she was such a huge influence over the whole thing, really.
She would have checked your teeth for you, Corinne. She'd have given you a little check out.
Could have done each other.
Robert?
For me, I know it's a bit of a strange one, but probably the Duke of Wellington.
Why not? I was going to say Alexander the Great. That's Duke of Wellington.
Yeah. Or Colonel Harry H. Jones from the Falklands era.
Oh, good one. That's a good one.
Well, certainly not.
Now, Alex, you mentioned that in the house you'd like to be with Sylvester Stallone, Arnie Schwarzenegger, but you didn't mention Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Why would you?
Oh, I like Jean-Claude. No, you're right. No, I'd have Jean-Claude. I like him.
Yeah.
I would want Michael Jackson.
He's the better looking one out of the three.
Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd have a stand-up comedian, I think. Someone like Lee Mack or Michael McIntyre. Just someone who'd make me laugh.
Yeah, Victoria Wood's my woman.
I think I would take Alex Reid into the house who can help me get some acting roles. Cheers.
Oh
I'm only joking. It's funny words. Funny words.
Joey Lyon to be good. Joey Lyon. She's a good one. We know her.
Oh, did you answer?
Karen.
Oh, Zoe Lyons, yes.
I haven't
Sheila.
answered no.
Come on, Karen.
Okay, so mine, I would say Prince Andrew, so I can get the truth out of him.
Yeah.
You never would.
Wouldn't get out of the house.
You might get
He
Who's
wouldn't
the
get
other
out.
one? What about Epstein?
Yeah.
Stop going to play Jimmy Savile next.
No.
Very controversial.
There's a lot of people who would be amazing in there, to be honest.
Alex, bit of a last question. Would you play the referee if it was Jean-Claude and Steven Seagal locked in the house, just the three of you?
That's easy, yeah, of course. That's a great one, yeah.
I think Steven would have it hands down all day long, though.
No.
Yeah, well, he's the only one that's ever been a world champion at anything out of the two of them.
Yeah.
No.
She'd be good.
Simon Cowell would be interesting. Let's see the real Simon Cowell.
It'd be boring as hell.
He would sleep too much.
Yeah.
Or Rylan would be good.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
I've often wondered, right, when I went in, I was naive, I was young, and that was part of the appeal. And I'm like, now I've got some experience of 10 years of pain, misery, and learning, and joy, and I'd be a very different person going in now, or would I?
Yeah.
It's like, right, what about if they did all of the winners who've ever gone in to go in?
The all wouldn't go in.
We've been talking about that.
There would be a clash, wouldn't there?
It's like the Hunger Games.
If everyone went in who won.
Lord supplies.
Nicola just said I'd have 2 X's in there, and that'd be quite volatile.
Who would win that fight?
Judith would be good in the house, though. Judith, you definitely would be good to watch in the house.
Yeah.
Judi, can I just ask something? Sometimes, you know, when we were all there, would you sometimes ever think that you're looking at the audience and see some aspects of people in the audience, you think, oh, I can see they're trying to do something or something like that, or wasn't that really something you did?
I couldn't, from where I was sitting, I could never see it properly, but when I watched it back on television, and it was always nice and enjoyable, you could see people, I mean, there were always some people that were sort of trying to grab the mic and hold on to it. And
Who could that be, Judi?
Name names.
Any ideas?
And there were some people that sparked off with Rylan really well and everything like that. And I love the way that you could actually see all of you getting on. You could kind of see, I think sometimes, and I'm not going to name any names, but I could see.
Go on.
No, I could see that some people were really good friends, more with some people than others. But no, it was, you were a good crowd.
Interesting.
Listening so well to everything. And I think that's the point. You were performing, but you were also listening as well, which is quite unusual. You were interested as well as...
Yeah.
Well, we're all Big Brother super fans. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that we stay close now, you know, through, you know, I had a vision, and look at this now. It's
yes, Daniel.
Before we go, who are you guys and where can we find you for all of my fans?
Well, I was actually going to say, Alex, once Daniel uploads all the links, if you can retweet it to death, you know what I mean? And Judi, if you can.
Well, I'll just quickly plug in.
I'll send you the link. I'll try and get it up within the next 30 to 20.
And how many more of you are there? Is this everybody or is there?
No, there's more.
A few of us come and go. A few come and go.
Yeah.
But you're the main.
This is the main group.
Right.
The main one.
We're just a select few.
You know.
At Princess Karen 2 on Twitter for me.
I don't normally plug myself, but I'm going to say I do Coventry Hospital Radio on a Thursday, 1 till 3, but I'm not there because of quarantine.
Okay.
And Alex,
Yeah,
Alex,
we'll tag you in all the links. Daniel will tag you in so you know who we are on Twitter and everything.
Thank you so much.
I just added you on Instagram.
Thank you for coming on. And you
thank you,
Alex,
guys.
You're all amazing.
Thank you.
Anyone follows the Lunch Official links, I'll follow you all back.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.